Okay, it's time now to round up today's top stories in the world of science with CTV science and technology expert Dan Riskin. Dan, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Hey, Dan. Okay, big question here. Could AI allow our dogs to talk to us? So curious.
I was thinking it'd be fun to do this whole conversation just barking and let the viewers work it out. Yeah, it's funny for a couple of seconds, but then after a while you wouldn't understand anything, right?
So exactly.
This is the whole issue.
Translate AI.
Yeah, exactly. So people have taken AI and they've taken large language models that are trained on human speech and they've tried to apply them to dogs. And this is some new research out of the University of Michigan. And it's not brilliant, but it does start the ball rolling on this stuff. So what they did is they recorded a whole bunch of dogs barking in different contexts, like, oh, there's a ball, or, oh, hey, that's an aggressive dog, or my owner just came home and I'm barking at the window, that kind of thing. And then they trained the model on these things, and then they tried to see if the model could predict, if they get a new recording, what it was. And it's about 62% accurate on what the context of the barking is. But weirdly, it's 70% accurate on the sex of the dog. And that is not something, if you heard a dog bark, you'd never know if it was a boy or a girl. And the model can do that with 70% accuracy. So there's something to it. It still needs a lot of work, but we're getting closer to an app on your phone that can translate what your dog says.
Oh my gosh, that is cool. They need to come out with a Look Who's Talking 3 and make it about dogs, but I'm sure they have a lot of animated films about that. All right, Dan, this is really interesting because when I was pregnant, you know, there's always these old wives' tales like, oh, if you eat sour things, it's going to be a girl or a boy, or, you know, what you eat influences the gender of the child. But it appears dad's diet before conception influences the health of the child later on. Explain this.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really obvious that if a woman's pregnant with a baby, how she treats her body and how well she takes care of her body is going to advantage or disadvantage that child early in their development. Once they're born, they're going to have sort of a head start based on what happened back there. And it's been thought that the dad sort of gets a free ride on this, that it doesn't matter what he does, he's just providing sperm, and who cares? But this is a new study showing that if a dad is eating a lot of high sugar foods, it actually changes which genes are turned on in the sperm, and that can affect the development of the baby. And there's some data showing that overweight dads tend to have larger children, and that's independent of the size of the mom. And so this might be a mechanism for that. So the big take home is, dads, you got to eat kind of healthy too, you know, as before conception, because that also helps to provide good health to the baby.
Yeah, get rid of that dad bod before you know.
Yes, yeah.
But it looks so good.
With 3 kids, too late for me. Sorry, guys. I did what I could. All right. In the meantime, Dan, this is interesting, and I think about this a lot, especially because you know, of children and, you know, artists with, you know, criminal acts in some cases that they've done. So the question here is people looking at whether we can fully enjoy art when we disapprove of the artist's ethics.
Right.
Yeah, this is something that comes up over and over and over, especially you look at a work of an old master and then you read their biography and you realize, you know, they owned slaves or had other ethical transgressions that really put a dark cloud over the art itself. This is a study where they took a whole bunch of art and they showed it to people who weren't art experts, and it was sometimes people were told there was a lie, but they said this is by a famous artist. Sometimes they said it's by an unknown artist. And what they did is they provided a biography to go with it. And they asked people to rate the art independent of the biography. And people who see a really negative biography tend to rate the art as worse. And so even though we might say we treat them separately, the psychology study shows that when we know something bad about the artist, it does affect how we see the work.
Yeah, for sure. And we've had this come up time and time again, you know, with rightfully so in some cases, cancel culture with artists such as, I don't know, Kanye West, Puff Daddy, R. Kelly. You know, you learn these things, Bill Cosby, and you're just like, you look back on it and you're like, I don't know if I can. There's that moral conundrum, right?
Exactly.
So
totally
interesting stuff. All right, CTV's Dan Riskin, science and tech expert. Thanks for joining us, Dan. Have a great week, and we'll chat again soon.
Everybody have fun
Well, this is a bit of a throwback, that's for sure. Wang Chung in the city tonight for a very special show at the El Macombo.
But first, a stop with us here on CP24 Breakfast. Wang Chung is still going strong, nearly 40 years since bursting onto the music scene, and the group is in the city taping a special show at El Macombo. So, a member of the band, Jack Hughes, one of the two, joins us now on CP24 Breakfast. Jack, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Great to see you. You guys are an iconic 80s band. Your songs have been featured in pop culture. I listened to it most recently in the movie The Idea of You during the naughty sex scene as they mouth the words of the lyrics.
Always good to be in the naughty sex scene.
Dance hall days. But I have to ask you, the question on my mind, a lot of, pop culture characters and actors have name-checked the verb Wang Chung. So where does that name come from? Because I read it's supposed to be like it started as a Chinese word for a note in the musical scale, Huang Zhong. Is that true?
Huang Zhong.
Huang Zhong,
means yellow bell.
Yes.
And so this bell resonates at the center of the universe, millions of vibrations, and our reality is one of those vibrations, and the job of music is to harmonize with it. But it was never like the meaning, I never wanted to kind of put that over as something that people had to understand in a conventional way. And obviously when we put everybody Wang Chung tonight, that's got nothing to do with Chinese philosophy or anything else.
Bell,
So it's just kind of, initially it was a placeholder name, that we thought we'd find something rational at some point, but we never did. And in the end, it sort of worked out for us.
I remember when Fraser Crane uttered it for his bachelor party on Cheers, right? I mean, that was one of those moments too.
My kids were very impressed.
I'm sure they were, the El Macombo tonight. I'm sure you've played the Elmo before, otherwise
you never have.
You never have. Okay, sorry, I made that leap and I shouldn't have assumed here.
Sure.
So what does it mean to you be going to such an iconic bar in Toronto to work on this then?
Well, humbling, I suppose, but great. I guess on this tour, there's a whole sense. We're out on tour with this abducted by the 80s, which is to support a greatest hits collection that's coming up. And I guess there's a sense of Wang Chung being part of this sort of legacy of pop music, rock music, whatever you want to call it. Between 56 and 2006, maybe you have this 50-year period of really, I think, cutting-edge, important cultural stuff, So to be part of that is really important, I think, And so, we've got a sort of flag in the ground and it feels good.
And aside from your greatest hits, which you've re-recorded with the orchestra, the Prague Philharmonic Orchestra, that must have been pretty special.
It was very good, That's, people say, well, that must have taken ages. It took 24 hours. Well, it took a day in the studio, to actually record it. A lot of prep before that. But it was wonderful working with a full classical orchestra and getting involved with the arrangements as well. It was great.
As someone who grew up with 80s music, that was really my sort of decade of, coming to music. So your music was very high in rotation on my ghetto blaster. Right?
Those were the days.
Do you think, do you talk to other 80s groups? Because we have a lot of 80s, bands coming in. That the fact that you're still relevant, performing, there's still an audience, an appetite for you. Like, do you all talk about that and think, can you believe we're still doing this?
Well, there is a sense of that, yeah. I think in the 80s it was quite a competitive atmosphere, So the bands weren't exactly friendly with each other in a way, But now I think we're all grateful to be A, still alive, and B, still doing it, And also, Nick and I notice a younger audience attending our gigs as well, and I guess that's a sort of to do with streaming and the access to music and the fact that it's now almost like non-generational, it's like people are just into music. And, if you hear Wang Chung, say like on The Idea of You, then you can just click and suddenly you get this big catalogue. And with Wang Chung, you get a lot of different styles in a sense, from the soundtrack work we did, through to Space Junk in '97 and stuff.
Yeah, The Exorcist, The Breakfast Club.
All that stuff.
Tons of stuff for TV shows.
With Billy Friedkin,
and movies. And it's the 40th anniversary of your song Points on the Curve.
Yeah, that album.
The album. Sorry. And I'm curious to know. I mean, out of all your hits, is there one that resonates with you that you sometimes, I don't know, put on the radio, like on your disc player, whatever it is, or your iPhone, on your iPhone. Sorry, I didn't mean to age you there. On your cassette tape. I'm joking. But is there one that you listen to that you like that perhaps it didn't catch on as big with the global music scene?
Yeah, I mean, I don't listen to my own records apart from just to be critical at some point about the sound or whatever. But I guess To Live and Die in LA is, at the time, it was not a commercial success in a sort of top 40 sense because it was such a edgy film, you know, and certainly not a feel-good 80s movie, you know. But a lot of people come up to us and say that soundtrack is their favourite Wang Chung thing, you know. And it was recently being used on this thing called Everybody's in LA. It's a John Mulaney sort of comedy show, you know, and he used the To Live and Die in LA as the title track for his thing, and also sort of copied the graphic style of the movie as well. And that to me is very gratifying, you know, because it's a real statement, that movie, and it's become now again part of a sort of central part of the culture, and that's fantastic.
Yeah. All right, we get to relive our 80s memories here on CP24 Breakfast. Jack Hughes and Wang Chung, appreciate the time this morning. Thanks for joining us. Good luck at the Elmo tonight.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much, Jack. Have a great show.
Thank you very much.
Gene Champagne, longtime drummer for Teenage Head, the Killjoys, and the Unteens, is stepping out from behind the kit for his first ever solo EP.
So let's welcome Gene to CP24 Breakfast this morning. Gene, so good to finally meet you. We've kind of crossed paths so many times, but never in person. So it's great to meet you, and congratulations on putting out this new album here, or EP, thanks. Pardon me. What was the inspiration for you here? Because, you know, with the exception of sort of Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel in terms of drummers coming out from behind the kit, you don't hear that much about it. What is it for you that said, you know what, I want to be the front man of this one?
I just sort of, I write songs and I play them all. I play all the instruments, and I kind of thought I wanted to do a solo thing for quite a while. I didn't have a band at the time, and I thought, well, I'm going to record something and put it out and do it my way. I've always been in a band, so in that scenario, you know, it's like a family, and you always have to sacrifice some things sometimes just to make the project go. This time it was just, I'm doing it for fun. No sacrifices. I do it my way, and I get to do fun things like this and come and talk to you people.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And so I know that you've sung and played guitar for, you know, the other bands that you've been a part of. So for this album, I want to understand, did you do everything yourself and kind of edit them together? Is that what happened?
Exactly. It's sort of like
wow.
So
a one-man
band.
Wow.
One-man band. Exactly. You know, a lot of artists will record their own music and they'll rely on a drum machine or whatnot. But I have the luxury, being a drummer, to just play something on the fly, and that's what I do. I build it like an assembly line. So I'll put my guitars down, I'll play the drums, I'll play the bass, I'll sing all the parts, and then put it together that way.
That's very cool, because your the first song on the track, Let's Jet, which is the title name of the album, getting a lot of pickup outside of Canada right now.
It is, which is really nice for me because I've never had that opportunity before. In the Killjoys, we were a Canadian band, signed to Warner, but we were mainly a Canadian band. We had Canadian radio, video, we watch music building, you know, so I'm familiar with that. But never outside of Canada, so this is a first for me, and it's pretty exciting.
And Killjoys and Teenage Head, I mean, the music on Let's Jet isn't too dissimilar, I wouldn't say.
No.
So what is it like? Is it you just had your own idea of certain differences that you wanted to enhance or bring out? Like, how would you describe that? Because you kind of creative control, really. Yeah,
well, I'm a pop guy. The Killjoys were very much a power pop band. Teenage Head is very much a rock and roll band, which. That's sort of what I grew up on. I was a huge Teenage Head fan, so to be in that band is like a pinch me moment, really. And I kind of wanted to draw on the earlier punk side of things, so that's kind of what I was aiming for. I can't shake the pop side of me, so you'll get that in there as well. I think it's a great blend of Teenage Head and the Killjoys, really.
Yeah.
And Gene, you know, you've come across some hard times. It was just in 2022 that you were in a coma for more than a week because of COVID. Before that, you know, your mother passed away. Then your good friend Gordy Lewis, a bandmate, your mentor since you were 15, found murdered. But I know that you're paying homage to his memory with that title, with that name, Let's Jet. Can you explain it?
Well, I was working with Gordy when I was actually recording this. We were kind of writing in tandem. I was helping him, and then in my own time, I'd write this record. And I had Let's Jet floating around in my head, but it was just a guitar part. And Gordy, in our conversations, mentioned that Frankie used to say Let's Jet when he wanted to leave somewhere. And it was like, I love that. And I thought I had my song. So I finished the song with Let's Jet, and there's a line in the song that says, ain't got no sense, ain't got no shame, which is actually a title of a Teenage Head song. So I kind of tipped my hat to the guys.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Well, listen, good luck with Let's Jet. Really enjoyed listening to it here and getting to listen to it before our interview this morning. But Gene, congratulations on this, and best of luck with all this.
Good luck on your show this Friday at the Bovine as well. And you're also playing in London and in Hamilton.
Yeah, I just want to say before I go, so on Friday I'm at the Bovine here in Toronto. You can pick up the record there, or you can get it at Sonic Boom in Toronto.
Okay.
Saturday I'm in London, Palisade Social Bowl. And then Hamilton, Saturday, June 29th for my own record release show, and I hope to see everyone there.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Gene Champagne, best of luck. Thanks so much.
Nice to meet you, Gene. Take care. Thank you so much.
Yeah, cheers.
Absolutely.
We'll leave you more from Let's Chat.
I know about popular, and with an assist from me to be who you'll be instead of dreary who you were. Well, there's nothing that can stop you from becoming popular.
I could listen to that all day. The musical sure is popular, and you're in luck because Wicked is back in Toronto until July 21st. And this morning we are joined by Alphaba and Glinda, or Glinda, depending on what you want to say or which part of the show you're watching, better known as Lauren Samuels and Austin Danielle Balmer. Thank you so much for being here this morning. I got to tell you, blown away by this show. It was the first show I ever saw on Broadway. And you brought me back to all those feels falling in love with musicals.
I love that. That's what we want. That's what we want.
Fabulous. Well, and I was asking you in the break, but I want to ask you again to share with viewers, how are you finding the Toronto audiences? Because this is a great show.
Yeah, really fantastic. We were told maybe perhaps Canadian audiences might be mellow or mellower than American audiences.
Yes, but being part of the Commonwealth.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
British.
Oh, yes, okay,
you would know.
Well, I'm British, so yeah, we kind of thought maybe they'd be a bit more reserved, but the crowds have been insane.
Yeah, fantastic
And
energy.
I was saying, I think for Canadians, we're a bit reserved and polite and shy at the beginning, but once you hit that tipping point and you connect with Canadian audiences, they go bananas.
Yes, they do.
So congratulations for doing so. And that kind of takes me to the next question. I mean, this really is an incredible show to watch. I mean, the staging, your performance is fabulous.
Thank you.
And the thing that maybe puts it over the top for me was the chemistry both of you have. Was that instantaneous?
I think
Yeah.
we've been very lucky.
Yeah.
When we first met each other, yeah, we were kind of instantly like, this is going to work.
Yeah, totally. I think, and that is such an important part of it. I think for us, it's always just like, I know no matter what chaos is going on, that when I look at her, everything else will sort of melt away and it will be totally fresh every single time. And that's like a real gift as an actor.
It is, and I can also feel a bit of a love for the storyline. I mean, we all have a relationship with The Wizard of Oz. Wicked kind of turns it on its head. You were in the reality series looking for Over the Rainbow, looking for the Dorothy. What were your original kind of relationships that maybe made you fall in love or at least really curious about this story?
Well, as you say, I was on the TV show Over the Rainbow, I want to say it was 15 years ago now,
2010,
maybe.
that's
Yeah,
wow.
gosh. So I've always had a very soft spot in my heart for the land of Oz. And then I actually saw the original West End company, which was Idina Menzel in London.
Oh, brilliant.
Also around the same time, 15 years ago. And it was one of those things that I saw it, fell in love with, and was like, one day, please let me be green.
Yeah.
And it may have taken
And it
15
happened.
years,
You didn't
but
need the
here we
wizard
are.
for that. No. How about yourself?
Yeah, I actually saw Kristen Chenoweth's final performance of Wicked. And what I remember most about that is because it was her last performance, they were so playful and sort of going off the cuff and just having the time of their lives. And I remember feeling like, oh, like, that is the thing. Like, that little sort of magical in-the-moment spark is what I'm chasing after. So to be here getting to do that material is like really, really special.
There's laughter, there's tears, and there's even a little bit of messaging about anti-fascism and anti-authoritarianism.
Yes.
What would you like? Do you want people just singing, or do you want them to carry some of that messaging away too?
Oh, I think that's what's so great about Wicked is that there is all of that. Like, people do laugh along, they do cry, they do get emotional with how much is going on the stage, but then there is this really big, powerful message at the end of it. And I think that might be why Wicked has run for so long as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think also, like, when you have a heavy-handed message, sometimes it's hard to digest. And what Wicked does so brilliantly is that it sort of softens people so that they can then leave leave really thinking about those deeper messages.
There's so much to absorb and enjoy in this. And thank you for sharing your experiences with the audience. And until July 21st, The Princess of Wales, Mirvish.com is where you get tickets. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you. So nice to meet you.
I definitely recommend this one. We're going to send it to break. We'll have much more on CP24 Breakfast right after this.
Who you were, well, there's nothing that can stop you from becoming popular.
All right, get ready. It's that time of the year again. The Toronto Caribbean Carnival 2024, the official kickoff and launch of the event takes place tomorrow on Saturday between 1 and 8 p.m. at the Scarborough Town Centre. And joining us live now on CP24 Breakfast to talk more about the event, the festival, is Executive Chair of the Board of the Committee, Jennifer Herlihy. And we've also got a special performance by international soca artist Patrice Roberts. Jennifer, Patrice, welcome to CP24 this morning.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Great of you to be here on a beautiful sunny Friday with the dancers and performers as well. Jennifer, let's start with you. The official launch is tomorrow at Scarborough Town Centre, starting at 1 p.m. What can people expect, and are they encouraged to attend?
Absolutely, Jennifer. You know, the Toronto Carnival not only brings in the sunshine, we're bringing the money and the joy. Our theme this year is Come Home to Love and Togetherness, and our official launch, as you said, is tomorrow, June 15th, at the Scarborough Town Centre. It starts at 10 until 10 at night. We have this amazing performances, one by KI from the Indo-Caribbean community, and the other one, as you said, the most amazing performer, Patrice Roberts, who is one of the best performers in the world today.
She really is. Patrice, it's so great of you to join us. Can't wait to watch you perform. And you're also going to be doing the ribbon cutting tomorrow, right?
Yes, I'm totally excited. I mean, this is an amazing experience for the culture. Toronto is a diverse, city that gives us the opportunity, especially for Caribbean people like myself,
Yes.
So this is a great opportunity to be able to be seen on such a big platform.
Absolutely. And you grew up, in a village in Trinidad. You started your career when you were just 8 years old. So
you know a lot
I know
about
a lot.
me.
I did my research. You're so beautiful.
Thank you.
When you came to Toronto, when did you start getting involved with, it was called Caravana up until 2010?
I started singing. I came here with Marshall Montano. He is a legend.
Yeah.
I've gotten the opportunity from him, and from the time I came here, Toronto people is like home away from home. There are a lot of people in the Caribbean here that embraces soca and embraces the culture, and I'm so happy for the opportunity to be here with you guys.
We are so lucky that you're here and that people get to see you perform, and they can catch you tomorrow. Jennifer, you've been, the executive chair of the board of the festival committee for about 2 years now. You were here last year with us here in our parking lot. What's it been like, watching this festival? I'm sure you've witnessed its inception from 1967 till now. It has certainly grown and changed, right?
It's grown in scope and impact. As I said, we have $400 million economic impact to the city of Toronto. We bring in 4,000 direct jobs. So economically, we're a powerhouse. We are the powerhouse of the Caribbean. And so not only in terms of the economic impact, but the cultural impact. Look at these beautiful costumes by Tribal Carnival. They're amazing. We invite all of our Torontonians to come down to the Scarborough Town Centre tomorrow, June 15th, and enjoy all of the festivities.
Yeah, it really is going to be a party and a kickoff. Okay, and we should mention the Grand Parade is August 3rd. But right now, Jennifer, let's let Patrice Roberts work her magic. She's going to be giving us a bit of a performance right now to give us a preview of what's to come.
That's right. Come out and see her all. She's going to be the ribbon cutter.
Yes, thank you.
Said I'm falling, falling, I'm falling. As I lay in my bed with my head to the ceiling. Say I'm drowning alone and I'm lost in my feelings. Somebody send me a sign, cause you know that I need it. Can't even come back to me, cause you know you're my healing. I said it's okay, it's my therapy, my therapy. It take away all of my anxiety, my remedy. I tell you that we all need love. Hey, hey. Together, say we all need love. Hey, hey. So come make we stronger together. No place to run, I'll be stronger together. Right now is our energy, stronger together. Soca is a part of we stronger together. I tell you so much on my mind that I can't sleep. I stressing all the time. I say I'm always on the grind. My body not keep up. The bacchanal on my mind all week. Take your troubles and throw them all away. Get ready to run across the stage. Get ready, yeah. Get ready, yeah. Give me energy, real energy. I say this soca is my therapy, my therapy. It take away all of my anxiety, my remedy. I tell you that we all need love. Hey, hey. Together say we all need love. Hey, hey. So come make we stronger together. No place to rather be stronger together. Right now it's our energy, stronger together. Soca is a part of we stronger together. Together, yeah. In my bed with my head to the ceiling. Say I'm drowning alone and I'm lost in my feelings. Somebody send me a sign cause you know that I need it.
All right, you can catch Patrice Roberts tomorrow at the Scarborough Town Centre doing the ribbon cutting and the official launch of the event from 1 to 8 p.m.